Hey, how you doing? My name is Michael. I am coming to you from my channel called Anchored in Truth. I wanted to present to you today a few things about the Serenity Prayer. Have you ever thought about the Serenity Prayer? Do you even know what it is? Well, I will explain that and a few other things as I talk to you in this video today. Is the Serenity Prayer actually biblical? For many years, I struggled with pornography. And with that struggle came shame, confusion, distress, and sorrow. I tried many things to break free. Things like self-discipline, meditation, even prayer. But if I'm being honest, the prayers that I gave, they felt empty, almost self-focused. I talked to people, some meant well, but most didn't really understand what I was going through or what I was dealing with. Even the Christians I was with or had around me at the time, I wasn't deeply connected to them. And the help I received never seemed to go deep enough. Then something changed. I came across a Bible called the Life Recovery Bible, a Bible built on and around the 12 steps of recovery. And inside it, something I heard many times before, the Serenity Prayer. Now, as a corrections officer, I sat in a lot of AA and NA meetings inside the jail. I heard the prayer over and over again at the beginning of those meetings. But back then, I wasn't listening. I never would have stopped to ask, what does that prayer actually mean? And even more personally, does it mean anything to me? Because if there's no real truth behind it, then why say it at all? So I started digging, right? I heard that the prayer was written by Reinhold Dumpler, a 1940s pastor, and it wasn't pulled directly from one passage of scripture, but it clearly reflects biblical ideas: surrender, wisdom, and trust in God. But history wasn't enough for me. I wanted to know more. Is this prayer actually true according to the Bible? Or is it just something that sounds good when people say it together? That question changed everything. Because when I began to study it, line by line, through scripture, I realized something powerful. This prayer just isn't something you say, it's the way you live. Let's walk through it. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Scripture speaks directly to this. In Philippians 4, Paul says he learned to be content in every situation. And Ecclesiastes tells us it is time, there is a time for everything. There's a time in life that belong to God, not to us. And when we try to control what only God can control, we end up anxious, frustrated, and exhausted. But serenity, peace comes when we surrender, not when we control. The next line, courage to change the things I can. This is where responsibility comes in. Joshua 1:9 says, be strong and courageous. James 1:2 tells us to be doers of the word, not hearers only. Faith isn't passive. If God reveals something in you, in your life that needs to change, he also gives you the strength to change it. That was true in my life. Freedom didn't come from just wishing things were different. It came when I started walking in obedience, step by step. Then this line, and wisdom to know the difference. This might be the hardest part because most of life's struggles happen right here. James 1:5 says, if we lack wisdom, we should ask God, and he gives it generously. Proverbs 3 reminds us not to lean on our own understanding. We need God to show us. What is mine to carry and what is his? Because if we get that wrong, we either try to play God or we avoid responsibility. And both will keep us stuck. The extended version of the prayer goes deeper, living one day at a time. Jesus said in Matthew 6 not to worry about tomorrow. God gives grace for today, not for the what ifs of next week, enjoying one moment at a time. Psalms 118 says, this is the day the Lord made. Joy isn't found in perfect circumstances. It's found in recognizing God's presence right now, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace. That's not easy. That's the next line. Accepting hardship as a pathway to peace. And that's not easy, right? But Romans 5 and James 1 both tell us that trials produce something in us: perseverance, character, and hope. God doesn't waste pain. He uses it, taking this world as it is, not as I would have it. Jesus lived in a broken world, and he didn't run from it. He walked faithfully through it. That's our calling too. Trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will. Romans 8:28 says God works all things for good for those who love him. That doesn't mean everything feels good, but it means God is working even where we don't see it. And and then it ends with this, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next life. That's the shift. God isn't offering temporary relief. He's offering eternal joy. So what does this prayer really come down to? It comes down to things that we all face, what we all cannot change, what we all recognize to change. We all are responsible to change, and the wisdom to know the difference. Most of our struggles come when we confuse those. We try to control what belongs to God, or we avoid what God has called us to do. But when we begin to surrender what we cannot control and step into what we can, something changes. Not because gets easier, but because life becomes aligned with truth. At its core, the prayer points to one powerful reality. Life is not meant to be controlled by us. But surrender to God. And that's not weakness. That's wisdom. That's not giving up. That's learning to trust. And when you live that way, these words are no longer something you say, they become something you live. Thank you for listening to me. God bless.